Welcome to the NaXum Podcast. My name is Ben Dixon, the CEO of NaXum. We've been blessed to serve referral marketing, direct selling companies ever since 1999 here online, building platforms and systems for them to build a referral marketing channel for their business. Now, on this podcast, we meet with both speakers that are in the space and professionals and clients and peers who talk about frameworks and the ways they use platforms and technology to grow their business in referral marketing. I'm excited for today's episode and can't wait for you to plug in. So let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Dixon here, CEO at NaXum, and welcome to the NaXum Podcast. Client Showcase is some of my favorite shows that we get to host. We get to talk about real companies who are doing exciting stuff in the referral marketing space. Today we get to talk about MyGig, and I love MyGig as a platform because their parent company has had hundreds of thousands of referral partners. So you think about that, some of you who run referral marketing companies maybe have 500 referral partners or 1,000 referral partners, hundreds of thousands of referral partners. And we have the CEO of MyGig, Gary Engles, here with us today. Now, before Umair kicks off the show, I want you guys to know that I love Gary because not only is he the nicest guy, but he's also a total badass. Gary is he's a jiu-jitsu master through the trained Gracie jiu-jitsu world. And he's an incredible father, incredible business leader. And MyGig has been my second opportunity to get a chance to work with Gary over the years. And I love just him as a person and who he is in the world and the work that he creates. And so you're in for a treat today as we unpack this idea of MyGig, the professional platform for the gig economy. So with that, let's go ahead and get the podcast started. Umair, the show is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you, Ben, and welcome, Gary, to the NaXum Podcast. This is a very, very special moment for us to have you here with us today as we work to maximize adoption on the NaXum platform. This is a great chance for all of our listeners to hear you unpack your vision for MyGig. So without further ado, let me just ask you the first question. When did you first get into the referral marketing gig space?
Yeah, wow. The first entry into referral marketing would have been when I want to say 18. I got involved with selling supplements and that out of the back of my car, when I was young, and just, the best part of all that was the education. I remember I had some success early on, but I had a hard time duplicating the efforts and ended up going a different direction. But I remember the education was phenomenal because it introduced me to so many great mentors and leaders and things that I learned back in those days is stuff I still use today. And so, that was entry into that. I'm in a unique space because it's like, this idea of referral marketing and like this gig economy, right? I'm a small business owner also. I've run a martial arts school for the last 20 years, and I'm a black belt underneath Hoist Gracie and jiu-jitsu. And, that's been a phenomenal career, being able to run this martial arts school and that, but I teach a couple hours a night, 4 days a week. And it's kind of part-time, but still the idea of running a brick and mortar small business. I've been in that world for a long, long time to do it successfully. But the other side of it as an executive in a, corporate world, kind of a situation that's a very different role also. But even in those jobs and in those positions, always looking at that gig work as an option. Like how else can I, stand up another pillar of income? How else can I, add to my family's, wealth and well-being? And how else can I utilize my time in a very intelligent way to, generate some more income for me and my family? And so always gig-minded, always referral space-minded, and looking for some other opportunity there.
There's a lot of people in America and across the world who I think are asking some of those same questions too, Gary. And so it's exciting about just what you guys have put together and what you're already doing inside of MyGig. So it's been a treat to get this journey and just see it come to where it's been. So
yeah. Let's talk about the vision behind MyGig. So you had this very specific vision, about the experience you wanted to create for your certified resellers when you engaged with our team at NaXum. Can you share with us today what was that vision?
Yeah, well, I will share this, that I am not the founder of MyGig, right? That role is by Ryan Leggett. He's an incredibly intelligent person, founder of Anchor and Anchor Accounting, and he's been around doing this stuff for a long, long time. And I want to give him full credit because this is his vision that we're bringing to life, right? I was brought in because of my experience and and things that we've done in the past to be able to bring that to life and to be able to, kind of like take care of the operations side of, running all of this. And so that's really my side. The vision itself is something that really aligned with everything that I've done in the past, and different opportunities and different things that we've done with, just building systems that work and that produce a result.
And I remember those early on conversations with you and Ryan, Gary, of this idea that, there's business professionals out there and they want a gig, but they they don't want a new network, right? They already have their professional network. And it's like, what gigs fit for your existing network? Where, many of the companies Umair and I have built platforms for here at NaXum in the past were direct selling companies or party plan companies or even MLM companies from time to time. And, sometimes I think, someone who's a business professional who looks at an MLM company, it's not a diss on any of my MLM or party plan clients, but maybe they have, maybe they're an insurance agent and they serve a bunch of small business owners. And then we say, here's protein powder or here's vitamins, right? And it
Yeah.
feels like, oh, wait a minute, like my customers don't see me as the vitamin guy. They see me as their insurance broker, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes the offer of a different direct selling company, party plan company isn't always aligned. You've run a very successful gym for 20 years. So if Gary's going to say, oh, here's a new vitamin, people are like, oh, that makes sense. He knows health. He knows wellness, right? It fits for your network. But for a lot of other people, they don't. And I thought that was so unique to think about how you've built this network for professionals and you and Ryan have set it up in a way where if they have an existing network, right, of business people, hey, you have offers that help those existing people. And that always seemed really cool. Just seeing that come together.
And that's really it. It's professional business services that all businesses need, and it just makes sense, right? You mentioned, as a martial arts school owner, the idea of offering a supplement or something like that. Admittedly, we've even tried that, and yeah, kind of makes sense on the front end, but there's still kind of a miss. There's still kind of it just doesn't really fit, right? Like I've had a lot of network marketing type opportunities come through the door that some
Sure.
parents are working with or whatever, right? Want to offer it to all of our students and things like that, and it just didn't quite make sense. It just wasn't really, this is something very different and unique and really special in the sense that, I am a business owner, and every business owner out there, whether you are a, brick and mortar run a company or, you have an online marketing, like I ran an online marketing agency. We spent millions of dollars on Facebook ads and all this kind of stuff for many years with, doing lead generation, things like that. I ran that kind of a company before. And, it didn't matter if I was, the brick and mortar or the online marketing or even like just a gig worker, like an Uber driver or something like that. There are needs of all these businesses that are out there. And that's really what MyGig is focused on, is those services that all businesses need, right? And you're talking about, IT solutions and HR and health insurance and, some of the benefits and things like that, right? Even one of the coolest things that we offer is found money for restaurants and things like this through a tax credit. And it's just being able to just infuse a company with some money that they didn't even know they were owed. It doesn't cost them anything up front, but those are some great ideas and great solutions that just fit for business owners.
Yeah, your found money niche is something I think makes you very special because, so many people have a product or a service they want to share with people and it costs their customer something to go get it. And because you're doing basically you are partnered with an accounting firm that does on contingency tax work for folks who aren't familiar with the found money space. And so there's different tax credits that people are qualified for. They didn't know they were qualified for. And hey, you'll do it at no cost up front if they pay you on the back end a percentage of what you get for them. And that found money space is something that even Umair and I here at NaXum, we've had multiple clients in the found money space, and it's always been a good hook. It's always been something wonderful because you're leading with service. You're leading with, hey, loving on someone enough to help them find something they didn't know they were owed in their world. And I think that's something that's very special, specifically about your platform. And the parent company of your system, for those that are not familiar with MyGig, the parent company, MyGig, is actually the provider to most of those found money offers here in the States because they're one of the only ones that owns a bank that finances the returns on found money. And I thought that was incredibly unique when we started working together in February and still do for people who take a look at MyGig. Is there's some people who do it on contingency accounting work, but not these actually lend against it, which is wild when you think about that. Is not only, is this money you're owed in a couple months? If you claim it, they'll lend against it for you, which I think makes it really unique.
Yeah, so you can get your money now. You don't have to wait, right? You don't have to wait for the IRS to do their thing, which they're incredibly speedy on everything that they do.
And I just think that helps your referral partners build trust. We talk about this all the time. It's like the whole reason someone does a referral marketing concept for their company, something Umair and I talk about constantly, is because instead of paying for ads to get customers, we want to leverage the existing trust that men and women have with their relationships in their life. And they're leveraging that trust and bringing it to offers at MyGig or whichever referral marketing company they're promoting. And what a cool way to make it easy for people to leverage trust, for you to have offers that's like, hey, did you know you were owed XYZ dollars that you didn't claim yet? Like, wow, that's pretty cool. Great work there, Gary. I think that I still after hearing that from Ryan's vision when you start on the project, I still think that's a very cool thing that makes you guys special.
Talking about the new projects, Gary, since we engaged with MyGig, we have built out a replicate webinar engine and a predictive mobile app for your members, who are committing to daily habits and working together to win, together to win the day. These systems give you all kind of data, and I wanted to ask you, how has been all of this information changed the way you approach new campaigns and new projects? Is this helping out for you?
Yeah, I mean, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it, right? The idea, everything that's in the app and everything that we have in our back office and all the, the measurement, the ways to measure your results is incredibly powerful. And I want to get everybody when they first sign up, to, hey, let's go start some of those habits day one, right? And so like you go to the app and you're like, okay, I'm gonna, invite 3 people that are right off the top of my head. These 3 people are business owners that might use this service. And so, right from the app, you're gonna go and introduce them to it, send them a video, send them a message. You can do it all right from the app, right? And we have preloaded, messaging and things like that you can use, and preloaded videos. But when you get on this role of, okay, every day I'm gonna reach out to 3 people. Every day I'm gonna, take these consistent daily habits. I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make in business is they get so excited about an idea, and they take action right from day one, right? They're like, okay, I'm going to go do this, right? And then what happens is that energy and excitement starts to fade, and they don't commit to the daily habits, right? And so that's one of the beautiful things about, the app and the system that we're using here is it helps you commit to those daily habits, and there's accountability, and things like this. But if you're just to focus on 3 a day, something simple like this, something that is very doable and attainable, you start to, I will share a fun story is that my daughter, she 9 years old, I believe, when she started Duolingo, if you're familiar with Duolingo. It was super powerful watching her do this, and she got a streak of 184 days in a row, right, doing this, right? I was like, and it was so cool, right? And so, but then she lost it. She fell asleep, didn't get it done by the end of the day. She'd already used her freezes and things like that. So she woke up the next morning and missed that streak, right? And she lost it, went to day 0, and she was just in big tears. I mean, she was just a wreck, And so I told her, I said, you should be really proud of, the work that you did, because there's not many 9-year-olds that can, do 184 days in a row of something, right? That's really powerful.
That's more than half a year. Yeah.
Then I gave her the option. I said, well, you can be proud of that, move on. I said, or you can start back at day 0. And so she did. She started back, and then she beat the same streak, hit 185, and talk about being proud of herself, right? It was so cool to see that. But now she's at 1,500 days in a row doing that since beating that streak. She kept going with it, right? And the idea is that, I mean, she's 14 now, right? So it's like, just years of doing this Duolingo app, and it's so powerful. But imagine your business if you were to just reach out to 3 people or follow up with 3 people every day, 1,500 days in a row. That's what people can't do, right? Everybody's in an instant gratification mode, and then in that world, right? And all of a sudden, it's like nobody understands delayed gratification anymore, right? We live in a society where we have instant access to everything on our phones. It's like you got to work for stuff, right? And I think the more we can just focus on something like the app is built around that, right? The daily consistent habits and just being able to do it over a long period of time.
And I love how you tuned it too. It was such a treat to host you guys for our content workshop, because it's not like just crappy messaging inside of this app. Like, it truly feels like Gary is sitting next to the newest salesperson on the team being like, well, if I were you, this is what I'd say next, right? On each of the messages. And it's such good truth that you do have to commit to daily minimums in life. Like, anything great in your life was process that took time, that was consistency. And you can't judge the fruit by just the seeds you plant today, right? Because it comes with time later. And whether it's working out, whether it's eating right, whether it's learning a new language like Duolingo. And it's really cool to see how you're leading that way, because I just believe this gets better and better and better over time as more members are inside of MyGig in this world. It's an incredible ecosystem for people to say, yeah, I'm going to go commit the daily action and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to go take this action and make it happen. It's funny because, I mean, you see it all the time when people are working out, right? They start a new workout, start a new diet, and they injure themselves in the first week because they go too hard, or they do some diet where they starve themselves because I'm really going to get fit this time. And they're not doing anything that's lifestyle, right? That's like over a real decision of my identity and who I am over time. And the identity question you're asking in MyGig that I think is cool is you've leveraged this NaXum app and private label in a way to say, hey, I'm going to be the kind of person who commits to daily minimums in my life. Like, I can always do more, but never less, right? I'm always going to reach out to 3 businesses each day for one of these offers. I can always do more, but never less. And that idea is powerful, because you don't need everybody to subscribe to that type of a plan. And it's a big ask, right? Not everybody's going to subscribe to committing to daily habits in their life. But even if 20% of your people do, like, that's a totally different company to run than any of the direct selling like companies we've ever talked about more in the past, because a community of thousands of people who are committed to daily action action. That's crazy exciting.
Also, we know deploying a third generation platforms, like this, is not always an easy for a culture. Changing behavior takes time and repetitive training to change direction. What have you found at your company to be, some of the most helpful methods to engage your current members to move behavior in a new direction? So, is it helping out for you?
It's the same conversation, right? It is repetitive behavior. It's the same things, right? As a martial arts instructor, I'll go back to that, right? Because I've been teaching for so long. I started martial arts when I was 5, so it's just always been around my life, right? But as an instructor, the hardest part is teaching the basics over and over and over again, right? It's like, okay, so here's how to do a front kick, right? But to be excited about it every single time. And I think as a leader in business, it's the block and tackle stuff. It's the basics, right? It's the simple stuff that I think sometimes we take for granted as we evolve in our business career, but realizing that it is the basic repetitive things that people need to do the most, right? If you were to ask anybody who's successful in business, what is that one thing? Give me the juice. What's that one gem? That one thing that is going to produce a result that made you successful. They're not going to tell you some fancy, thing that is really hard to understand or anything. It's the simplest stuff, and it is just the consistency, right? And it just goes back to that. There's something that I teach all the time, is that mastery of anything. If you want to master, the piano, or master martial arts, or master business, or master referral marketing, mastery of anything requires 3 things. It's correct knowledge consistently over long periods of time. And so the idea of correct knowledge is super powerful, right? And that's something that, think about having the app and having, the videos and the messaging and how to talk about it, and like the actual system in place and like what to do, right? I think that's important, right? You have to have the correct knowledge, right? If you don't know what to do or how to do it, be consistently doing something wrong and get really good at doing it wrong, right?
Yeah.
But if you start with the correct knowledge and start with people who have already done it, and all you have to do is just be consistent but put the time in also, right? Don't quit when it gets hard, right? Don't quit when you start to lose that energy. Initial passion fades if you just keep pushing through that and put in the time in it.
One of the things I've appreciated about your formula and the way I've actually seen you like make that real in real life is the way you and Alex, your head of sales, have done your campaigns. It's been cool to see just your structure. I remember just getting with you even last week and you're showing me, all right, Ben, here's my 10-day campaign. And then here's what I'm going to do after that with people with launching on webinars. And you've laid it out for people. You've said, hey, if you're a bigger group and you're popping into MyGig, like this is what we're going to do day 1, day 2, day 3. And not only do you help them with that communication to their group, you help them with the events and the personal care that you and Alex have really put into some of these groups and training and onboarding. It shows, right? Is that you're willing to do the work of showing up. And I think that a lot of times people think you just build a product or you just build a platform and they will all come, right? People will all come. And many times they don't, when communication in our whole social media digital world is this thing that's this constant conversation that's always happening. It's been exciting that you've kind of laid the path for many people to say, oh, how do you launch well? Well, this is what your first 10 days look like. Here's what your next 30 days look like. And you're going to go follow this recipe. I know I was really humbled big time when I first got into direct sales. You talked about selling vitamins when you were young. I was selling real estate seminars. And I remember trying to recreate my own path, like recreate the wheel of what they had taught. I failed miserably. Like for 10 months, I made $0 in direct sales when I first got started when I was 18. And then when you got humbled and you started following the path of what they actually taught instead of recreating the wheel, I had massive success. So it wasn't because Ben was great. It was because I followed the proven path. And it's just really cool that you've laid it out for people because they they can choose. Can I follow a proven path or try to recreate the wheel? And you've already set it up for them. And so it's
You have to lead with empathy, right? And I think that we started all this with the understanding that you have some people that are brand new to running a business that are coming in to MyGig and to this space. And then you have some people who maybe are brick and mortar business owners or somebody that has run a business, but maybe in a little bit different way than this. And then you also have some professionals or professional services, maybe an entire accounting firm that's going to step in and or something like this that they're coming in. That's a unique challenge because now we're speaking to very different audiences and understanding. But in order to have empathy, to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, right, you have to have been in those different worlds, right? And so that's something that I recognize as unique for myself. It's to be able to say, hey, I've been in these different places and I've seen, from this perspective, what do you need to succeed? From this perspective, what do you need to succeed, right? Go back to my martial arts again, because it's something that's so important to me. Is I've trained with some amazing instructors, like some top level instructors, right? And I've also trained with some top level martial artists, right? Meaning they're really good at doing the thing, right? They're great fighters or whatever, but they're terrible teachers. right? And I've also
Yeah.
trained with guys like Qureshi, right? He's known for being this amazing fighter, but he's also a phenomenal teacher, right? He understands
Right.
how to break it down to the basics, to
Yeah.
the person that needs to understand, and teaches that class. Some of these great martial artists, but were bad teachers. They would teach what made them look good, and they would teach what these fancy techniques that were like, whoa, that was so amazing. I want to do that. But the people in the class, they weren't even close to being able to do it, those types of
Sure.
techniques. So it was just showing off, right? It wasn't really what the student needed at the time.
Yeah.
It was just to fill the instructor's ego. Does this make sense,
Yeah.
right? And so the
Yeah.
idea is the best instructors that I've ever trained with were high level, but they taught at a low level. They taught at just
Yeah.
one level above what that person needed at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they led with empathy. And that's the approach that I try to take with our
Uh-huh.
education platform and what we're doing.
I've seen that to be true. It's been fun to leverage this technology in this way. We've gotten to do all types of projects over the years. Whether, at this point, Gary, Umair and I have done over 170 programs that we've built in just 15 years, which is just crazy to think about that over time.
Wow.
And MyGig is a special one in the sense that you're working with professionals who have a professional network, you're giving professional services to. And
Yeah.
it's cool to see the way you're rolling it out. So for those that haven't checked it out, you can go ahead and check it out in the show notes. We'll put links there and notes as well to Gary and his work. And thank you for sharing just your experience with some of the tech and what we've been doing. And we're really enjoying the relationship. So I want to thank everybody for coming here to the show today. Umair, thank you for hosting.
Thank you.
That
Thank you, Gary.
are brand new on our social profiles. If you do want future episodes from NaXum Podcast, you can subscribe on Spotify or on Apple. If you haven't yet plugged into our Direct Selling Executives Forum, that's a series that your Umair Qureshi right here has been hosting this year, and Umair's done a great job. There are 70 episodes of other executives, just like Gary, who are running direct selling companies, running referral marketing businesses, and frameworks for their success. If you haven't seen the DSEF, it's absolutely free. To join on LinkedIn, just search Direct Selling Executives Forum, and you can apply to join for free, or you can go on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and you can subscribe there as well. But Gary, thank you so much for being here today. It was a total treat. Wishing you all the best, and Umair, thank you for hosting. We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you, Ben.
If you're looking for more information about NaXum itself, go to www.naxum.com. Or if you want to view our most recent studies, go to www.naxumtour.com and take a look there.